you're late. Don't apologise. Humans always think in minutes, hours, days even. When you've lived as long as I have, those things stop feeling very important. Sit down, please. The old stone isn't as uncomfortable as it looks. We've got a long conversation ahead of us. Thank you. You're wondering why this place feels familiar, aren't you? You shouldn't. You've never been here before. Not exactly. Though you have dreamed about it. The hill, the dead tree, the lake without any ripples, the moon that always seems just a little too large. You dream about this place every few years. You always wake before you see me. But tonight, you didn't. No, you're not asleep. Dreams have doors. Sometimes they open both ways. You walked through one. I simply opened it a little wider. Or you don't have to be frightened. If I wished you harm, you would never have reached the hill. The forest would have kept you. The lake would have borrowed your reflection, and the mist would still be whispering your name. Instead, you're here, with me, safe. Funny, humans never believe monsters when they promise safety. I suppose you've earned that suspicion. Not every beast tells the truth. But I do. It makes hunting much easier. Oh, don't worry, I was teasing. Mostly. Relax. Your heartbeat is loud enough already. I've missed hearing it. That confused you. Of course it did. You don't remember me. Very few ever do. Tell me, when you were little, did you ever wake absolutely convinced that something was sitting beside your bed, not touching you, and not speaking, just watching? Your parents said it was your imagination. They were wrong. It was me. No, not every night. Only the difficult ones. The nights after nightmares. The nights after thunderstorms. When you cried so quietly you didn't want anyone to hear. You always curled up facing the wall. You thought no one noticed. But I did. Sometimes I'd stay until sunrise, just watching, making sure nothing worse found you. You don't believe me. That's all right. You shouldn't. Not yet. Trust should never arrive before questions. Ask one. Anyone. Go on. What are you? That one. I expected it. The oldest stories call my kind beasts. The newer stories call us myths. Neither is quite correct. We existed long before humans started naming things. Back then, there wasn't a word for a monster. Only hungry, cold, night, home. Names came later. Fear came later too. Before that, the world simply exactly was. You have a lovely habit of listening all the way through. Most people interrupt. They argue and demand proof, threaten, run. You just listen. I remember that about you. You were 6 when you found an injured wolf. Everyone told you not to go near it. You ignored them, very politely. You apologized to the adults while still walking toward the wolf. I laughed so hard. Not because it was funny, because it was so completely you. You offered the wolf half your sandwich. Again, you try feeding everything. The wolf didn't eat it. It wasn't hungry. It was waiting. For me. You never noticed the way it looked over your shoulder. It wasn't watching you. It was waiting for permission. I shook my head and it left. You told everyone it wandered away on its own, and I let you believe that. There were so many things I let you believe, not because I enjoyed lying, but because children deserve ordinary memories. You deserved great news, birthday parties, school plays, embarrassing photographs, not the truth. The truth is much heavier, and children shouldn't have to carry it. Adults are a little stronger. Most days. Do you know why fairy tales always warn children not to wander into strange woods? It's not because something is waiting to eat them. It's because something else already is. There are creatures that hunt the careless, the cruel, the lost. Then there are creatures who hunt those creatures. We're less famous. Heroes rarely become legends when everyone mistakes them for villains. You looked at my hands. Go on. They're larger than yours. Claws. Scars. Fur. Not exactly human. Not exactly anything you'd recognise. I frightened plenty of people just by existing. The first time you saw me properly, you smiled. Do you know what that does to a creature? A creature that everyone else flees from. It changes them. You couldn't have been older than 3. You waddled right up to me, held out a dandelion and said, "You look lonely." I'd never been given a flower before. I still have it. No, not the flower itself. Flowers don't last. But memories do. Especially the impossible ones. Ever since that day, I've done something I never intended to do. I've watched over you. Not because I was ordered to, not because of some ancient oath, but because, for the first time, someone looked at the beast and saw someone worth comforting. I don't think you realise how dangerous kindness can be. Not because it invites monsters. Because sometimes it teaches monsters teaches monsters how to love the world they were supposed to fear. And once that happens, they begin making choices their own kind don't always forgive. Which, I'm afraid, is exactly why I finally had to ask you here. Because tonight, the others found out that I've been waiting for you. And they don't intend to keep waiting. Please, don't look toward the trees. I know you heard them. The branches didn't move because of the wind. Just keep your eyes on me, please. Good. There are rules, very old ones, older than kingdoms, older than roads, older than the language we're speaking now. Most humans never learned them. If something ancient is watching you, don't acknowledge it until it acknowledges you first. If your name is spoken, don't answer immediately. And if a beast you've only just met asks you to trust it, well, that last rule has always been rather inconvenient. You're doing well. I know you're frightened. You have every right to be. But fear isn't failure. Fear simply reminds you that you're alive. Listen carefully. Do you hear the lake? No, exactly. It should have waves, frogs. It should have insects. But instead, it's silent. The lake is listening. Everything here is. This place sits between worlds, not entirely yours and not entirely mine. It's where promises become real, where old bargains wait to be remembered, where forgotten things go, when no one says their names anymore. It's also the only place they can't simply take you. That's why I brought you here. You deserve to hear the truth before anyone else tells you their version. Humans have always loved simple stories. Hero, villain, prince, monster. But reality is terribly disappointing. We're all a little bit of each, especially me. I told you I'd waited for you, but I never quite explained why. Many years ago, before you were born, before your parents met, and before your grandparents were even old enough to remember their own names, I made a promise. Not to a king, and not to a witch, but to a woman. She walked through these woods carrying a child, and she was terrified. She was terrified that something had followed her, something that feeds on family lines. Not blood, and not flesh. Potential. It finds one person and follows that family generation after generation, waiting, watching, patient, much like me. Only it waits for the wrong reasons. I found her standing exactly where you're sitting now. She asked me if monsters granted wishes. I laughed, and she said, "I'm not wishing for myself." She placed one hand over her stomach and said, "I only want my child to live." Do you know what beasts are very bad at? Refusing mothers. So I agreed. I hunted the creature and I drove it away, but things that old don't truly die. They bargain. It looked at me and said, "Very well, I'll wait for the next child, and the next, and the next. One day you'll grow tired, you'll look away, and then they'll be mine." It smiled, and then it disappeared. I thought I had won, until many years later, I saw a little boy offering half his biscuit to something with far too many eyes. You. I knew it had returned. Not because it had forgotten, but because it had remembered your family. That promise. Since then, I've stayed close, not every hour and not every day, but always near enough to be first. The nightmare. When you were 8, not a nightmare. The accident you should have had when you were 17. The driver changed his mind at the last second, not by chance. I was standing beside his car. He never saw me. He only felt that something was terribly wrong, and so he stopped. Last winter you turned around because you were certain someone had spoken your name. That wasn't me. If you had answered, you wouldn't have found your way home. I answered instead, in my voice. It followed me until sunrise. You see, it doesn't want your body. Bodies are temporary. It wants permission. Ancient creatures cannot simply take. They must be invited. A name answered. A hand accepted. A door opened. A promise spoken carelessly. Humans think words disappear after they've spoken them, but they don't. Not here. Not to us. Words become paths. You've walked very carefully your entire life, and you didn't even know it. Until tonight. Tonight it grew impatient, because tonight it's different. You felt it, didn't you? That strange certainty that you had to come here, almost like someone had been calling you for days. It wasn't me. I only opened the last door. The call. It belonged to something else. It knew I couldn't hide you forever. It expected me to keep running, to keep delaying, to wait another year, another decade, another lifetime. But instead, I brought you here Do you know why? Because I'm tired. Not of you, never of you, but of hiding. Of pretending that tomorrow would always arrive. Eventually, every guardian must stand still. Every shield must choose where it will break. Look at me. Really look. Do you see the scars across my shoulders, along my arms? Those aren't from hunting. They're from waiting. Every year it tested me. Every year I answered. I told it no. And every year it smiled a little wider because it knew one day I'd be alone. One day I'd be too slow. And one day I'd finally realize. I'd finally lose. Perhaps. Perhaps it was right. Perhaps this is that day. Don't say you'll help me. You're kind enough that you'd mean it, but this isn't your burden. It never was. Mine. Always mine. You know, there's something I've wanted to tell you for a very long time. Back when you were 3 and gave me that little dandelion. You looked up at me without a trace of fear, and you said, "If nobody likes you, I do." 3 words. That's all. 3 tiny words from a child who had no idea what he was looking at. Do you know what happened next? For the very first time in all my years, I chose not to be what I had always been. I chose to wait patiently. Not for revenge and not for hunger. For you to grow. To laugh. To become exactly the man sitting beside me now. Whatever happens next, waiting for you was never time wasted. It was the happiest thing I've ever done. They're here. You can hear them now, can't you? The footsteps that don't quite sound like footsteps. Stay behind me. Whatever you hear, whatever they promise, whatever voice they borrow, don't answer. Just listen to mine. As long as you can still hear me, you are never alone.